Hello, welcome to the module titled Health and City, Fields of Planning and Design. The topic of healthy city has increasingly gained relevance in the last 20 years because of the very large number of inhabitants in urban areas. All over the world, statistical data confirm this growing trend. 55% of the world population lives in urban areas, and according to the last projection, it will increase to 68% by 2050. Europe is a region with a high density of urban population. In fact, more than 74% of the population lives in urban areas, and the population density is 34 inhabitants per square kilometer. This is despite Europe's low rate of fertility, population decline, and significant diversity in urbanization levels of each country. Moreover, in 2019, in the European Union, more than one-fifth of the population was aged 65 years and above. And by the year 2100, it is estimated that the population aged 80 years or higher will double. This scenario has a strong impact on the city in terms of consumption of natural and artificial resources, use of land, demand of infrastructure, demand of social and public services, and it has an impact on the social and economic relations too. These impacts will have effects on the health of the city inhabitants, as confirmed by several scientific studies. At the global level, among the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, the 11th one, titled Mixed Cities and Human Settlement, Inclusive, Safe, Resilient and Sustainable, stresses the importance of planning and managing this process that takes place within the city. By 2030, all countries have to reach the 7 targets of the 11th goal related to housing and basic services, must be accessible for all. Transport systems must be sustainable and safety. Urbanization and participation must be inclusive and sustainable. Cultural and natural heritage must be protected and safeguarded. Natural disaster must be prevented. Environmental impact of cities, the adverse impact must be reduced. Green and public spaces must guarantee a universal access and be safe, inclusive, and accessible. Moreover, the European Healthy City Network, launched in 1986 by the World Health Organization, plays a key role in promoting policies and strategies for urban areas in line with global policies, positioning at its core the principle of population's health. In the scheme, you can see the evolution of the policies at the global and European level. Against this backdrop, I would like to provide 3 important definitions which are at the core of this course: health, relationship between health and environment, and healthy city. What is the definition of health? Health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity, according to the evolution of its definition. Health is a positive concept, and it is a human right, and it is created and lived by people within the settings of their everyday life, where they learn, work, play, and love. Moreover, according to the Maykirk model, health is a dynamic state of well-being, evolving from interaction among different kinds of determinants that have an impact on human health, like the individual, social, and environmental ones. This interaction varies across individuals and contexts, but in every case, an unsatisfactory response to this interaction will cause disease. Going on, what is the relationship between health and the environment? Let's start by thinking about how many aspects of the social and physical environment can affect people's health. The environmental determinants of health are the full set of conditions in which people born, grow, live, work, and age. They include the immediate social surroundings of each individual as well as the larger social context. Namely, they consist of natural resources like air, water, land, soil, trees, and natural habitat. Built environment like buildings, places, streets, roads, housing, green areas, and so on. In short, this consists of the environment where we carry out our daily activities like living, learning, working, moving, shopping, and so on. For these reasons, we have to pay attention to the consequences on health and social interaction that are created by the built environment, and on the methods we deploy to study, build, and regenerate it. According to the data discussed of this talk, we have to focus on the city because it is the complex place par excellence for activating and evaluating the impact of methods in health, planning, designing, and building and their outcome. So, was it the healthy city? Broadly speaking, healthy city is defined as the one that is continually creating and improving those physical and social environments and expanding those community resources which enable people to mutually support each other in performing all the functions of life and developing to their maximum potential. This ample definition allows us to prefigure the role of architecture. The aims of healthy city are to create a health-supportive environment, to achieve a good quality of life, to provide basic sanitation and satisfy hygiene needs, and to supply access to health care. For this reason, how cities are managed, planned, and designed can make a significant difference in the impact of the health of their residents. Within this framework, the document produced by the European Healthy City Network, and in particular the Zagreb Declaration, are the starting point in defining the intervention areas for urban planners, architects, and engineers, as well as for other professionals, because building a healthy city needs an interdisciplinary action. According to these documents, we will focus the attention on three core themes and illustrate their main aims. The first one is caring and supportive environments. A healthy city has to be a city for all its citizens and must be inclusive, supportive, and responsive to the needs and the expectations of the various age groups that inhabit the city, that are various as children, young adolescents, adults, and elderly. In view of Europe's aging population, it is necessary to introduce policies and universal action plans that addresses the health needs of this vulnerable group, promoting participation, empowerment, independent living, supportive and safe physical and social environment, and accessible services. The second one is healthy living. A healthy city, as a strategic plan of urban environment development policies, must provide conditions and opportunities that support healthy lifestyles, enhancing active living, physical activity, and pedestrian mobility. The third one is healthy urban environment and design. A healthy city must offer a physical and built environment supporting to health, recreation and well-being, safety and social interaction, easy mobility, a sense of pride and cultural identity, and it must match the needs of all its citizens. The three themes are strictly interconnected, and they suggest different kinds of interventions at different scales: citywide, neighborhood level, local environment level, and building level. Especially in the third core theme, healthy urban environment design, it is possible to identify the spaces of action in creating and designing a healthy urban environment that matters in this course. They are as follows: urban planning, integrating health consideration into urban planning processes, programs and projects, and establishing the necessary capacity and political and institutional commitment, emphasizing master planning, transport accessibility, and neighborhood planning. Urban design, creating a socially supportive environment that encourages walking and cycling, enhancing cities' distinctive and multifaceted cultural assets in urban design, and promoting designs that meet all citizen expectations for safety, accessibility, comfort, and active living. Creativity and livability, promoting policies and cultural activities that encourage creativity and contribute to community growth by developing human and social capital, improving social cohesion, and activating social change. Climate change and public emergencies, tackling the health implication of climate change in cities such as flooding, and being alert about global changes such as the impact of globalized economy and the free movement of people, and prepare for response to the public health emergencies such as COVID-19. Safety and security, ensuring that planning and design of cities and neighborhoods allows social interaction, increases a sense of safety and security, and support easy mobility for everyone, especially for young and older people. Transport, promoting accessibility by facilitating the ability for everyone, including people with limited mobility, to reach their required destination without having to use a car. Exposure to noise and pollution, promoting and adopting plans, designs, and practices that protect people from toxic and health-damaging exposure, including indoor and outdoor air and noise pollution. Housing and regeneration, increasing access to the city through planning and design too. Integrated transport systems, better housing for all, health enhancing urban regeneration schemes focus on green and open spaces for recreation and physical activity. This planning and design action refer to various disciplines and different scales of interventions, as we said before. They are all strictly connected and they all influence each other. Therefore, there is a principle of interdependence between the policies and the actions that can no longer be neglected. Because building a healthy city is a long-term interdisciplinary process. In the next picture, I show some project examples in these fields of design. This consists of a sensorial garden designed with special attention to the residents' needs with the physical, sensory, or psychic disabilities. A restoration of a square designed to be available and accessible for all, where the fountains are used as a tool guide for blind people. Some projects to guarantee the accessibility for all in open spaces of the city's historic center. A project of housing regeneration to guarantee better social housing and services for all, and to activate a process of renewal of the neighborhood. The role of creativity and livability. The public space offers a great deal of opportunities. Public art plays a vital role, as well as how people creatively use and lead the urban spaces. Designing a healthy urban environment is a challenge that requires critical thinking in order to place citizen health needs at its driving principle, being fully aware of the context under consideration. It is a process that must be driven by new professional figures equipped with hard and soft skills, which include the ability to manage the whole process and to communicate with different actors. Within the traditional approach to teaching architecture, urban planning, urban design, environmental design, landscape architecture, and technology of architecture are treated as separate fields, and in pulling them apart from what should be a common core, the crucial grounding and the set of skills for building a healthy city are neglected. For this reason, it is important to focus our attention on what should be the common areas of overlap between these disciplines and their connection with engineering and other fields like social, economic, and medical science. In conclusion, I would like to argue that a healthy city is for people, and to achieve change, good interdisciplinary planning and design are not enough. It is also necessary to activate the process of involving and empowering cities' inhabitants. Making a healthy city is a process of co-creating and co-dreaming the future of our city. It is a process that involves all actors, and you are part of this group as inhabitants and next generation of professionals. And it is a process that involves, in a broader meaning, the whole sector of civil and political society. Thank you for attending this module. Grazie per aver seguito questo modulo.